Hey, fifth grade, for today's reading workshop lesson, we are wrapping up our work with our slide deck for the nonfiction narrative article, Malala the Powerful. I hope you've enjoyed it. We've had a lot of really great discussions here at school based on what we read and just, you know, really thinking about how life in other places on the globe actually are and just kind of how lucky we are, which is hard to imagine at this point because education has been so crazy for us, being in and out, and it just looks different and it feels different. But after reading this selection, we do have it pretty good, and we are extremely lucky. And I hope that you have realized that as we have read through. It's kind of hard to imagine what life for Malala must have been like. All right, well, we're going to go ahead and jump into our slide deck. On day 3, which is today, we'll be working on our critical thinking and choosing a task. So you'll answer the questions on slides 7 and 8, and then you'll choose a task on slide 9. Remember that there's usually something that has to be attached to the assignment, and so we'll talk about how we're going to go about that in just a minute too. But we'll go ahead and jump into our slide deck. And we are ready for thinking critically. I'm going to move myself up here. Why is literacy, that is the ability to read and write, important? So this is not something that I can really guide you through. This is something that is just your answer. It's a matter of opinion, but any opinion worth sharing should have some evidence backing it up. You can feel something just because, but it's very likely that we have good reasons for the way we feel or the opinions that we have. And so that's what I want to see on these two questions is your opinion on these things, but also like why you think that. So why is literacy, the ability to read and write, important? And question 2, is free public education a basic human right? You guys just studied the Bill of Rights with Mrs. Geisendorfer. A basic human right is something that every human on earth should have the right to. If you think about what you learned in those lessons with Miss G, this feeds right into it. So I want you to tell me if you believe that free public education is a basic human right or if it is not. So I've given you some sentence starters here, but that's all I'm going to give you because I really, really want to see if you can share your thoughts and give reasons for those thoughts and explain your thinking in that way. So your sentence starter for question 1 would be literacy is important because, or literacy is not important because. And then it would be, sorry, I want to change that really quick. Oh, it's just telling you, sorry. It just wants to know why. And then free public education is or is not a basic human right. So you're going to tell me how you feel about that. And then let's move on to question 3. I kind of gave you an example answer here, but again, I really want to see what your thoughts are. But I gave you an example here because these are things that we would discuss in class. And if you were at home, you're missing out on that part. And it's a crucial part to my class, is the discussion. So I'm trying to at least expose you to a little bit of what I anticipate people talking about or thinking or sharing. So question 3, in a speech she made to the United Nations on her 16th birthday, Malala said, I raise up my voice, not so that I can shout, but so that those without a voice can be heard. What did she mean by that? So I've given you an example answer here. Malala is speaking on behalf of the 259 million children who are deprived of an education and who do not have the same ability that Malala has to speak out and be heard. In a similar way to how protesters said, I am Malala, Malala is suggesting that she is those 259 million children who are deprived of education. And so I hope that that helps. If you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I can help you out with those. I can guide you as much as I possibly can. We're going to go ahead and move on to choose a task. I'm going to move my face over there. All right. So you can see that you only have 4 choices this time. Normally you have 9. So you're going to choose one of these tasks to complete. So the first option, this one right here, says to consider the following quote from Malala. One child, one teacher, one book, and one pen can change the world. What does she mean? How can these elements change the world? Display the quote and your analysis on a poster, piece of original artwork, or photograph. Well, if you're doing this at home, or if you're doing this late, probably the best option for you, if you choose this one, is to create a Google drawing and create a mini poster on that drawing. It's not going to be something that you actually create at home with glue and things like that, just because of the nature of the assignment and being at home to complete that assignment when indeed we should be completing it in the classroom. And you would have lots of materials available to you here. You may or may not have those things at home. So probably your best bet is to use a Google drawing and create that poster using word art and graphics and colors and things that a Google drawing will allow you to do. And then the next one, explore the Malala Fund website, www.malala.org. So you can probably just copy and paste that into your browser. So you would do it like this. I don't know, maybe it won't let us. So you could open a tab and then go back and forth. It doesn't look like it's going to let us copy and paste. It says explore the Malala Fund website. Record 3 things you learned, 2 things that support ideas in Kristen Lewis's article, and 1 question you still have. So you're doing some research here. I would probably do a Google Doc to record what you find out, 3 things that you learned, 2 things that support the ideas that you learned, or 2 things that support the ideas that we learned in this article, and 1 question that you still have about Malala's story. And then the bottom left says, Nobel Peace Prizes are awarded for achievements that have greatly benefited humanity. What are Malala's achievements? How do they benefit humankind? Answer both questions in a well-organized essay. And this is the contest prompt. So if you decide to do that, feel free to find that link in the article and submit that. And then the last one, imagine you have the chance to write a letter to Malala. What would you tell her? Here are some ideas. You could express support for the work that she's done. You could tell her why you think education is important. You could share what her story made you think about or what it made you question. So you have the option of doing a letter, writing an essay, doing some outside research, or creating a poster that is actually a response to this quote. So you can't just make it pretty. You have to use that brain power too. So responding to that quote, doing some research, writing an essay, or writing a letter to Malala. I cannot wait to see these guys. So I'm going to jump back for just a second, because when you get whatever project you decide to do, whatever task, you need to go back to the assignment itself and use the add or create button to attach that choice or that task to the assignment. So you would use a doc, a slide, sheets, or drawings, depending on what you're doing. And then it would automatically show up here. You can work on it, build it, and then you can click turn in after doing so. So let me know if you have any questions or if I can help in any way with any of it, really. I can't wait to see you in school soon, and I hope you are well.